Hi, welcome to an episode of TFT Hyperroll from Mission4Tution. Please remember to like, comment, and all that good stuff for the algorithm. This video was taken from a live stream that we did on Friday from noon until 2 Pacific time. We might do them more regularly going forward on Tuesdays and Fridays. We're going to try. Schedule's really busy, but this particular match had so much in it that I wanted to show you. We've clipped out some of the audio because the kid and I were chit-chatting as the game was going on, but let me set the background, which was that earlier in the stream, I had a game where it gave me a nocturne and then it just would not fill in the right items, and I was looking for redemption. The first key, of course, to building an assassin build, in my mind, unless you're going chug bug, is getting a nocturne out of the NPC round. There he was. And I also had the items instantly for Last Whisper and an additional sparring glove on the side, so I was saying, okay, we're gonna make it work. But despite rolling as much as I could in round 1, I did not get a Kha'Zix, which I absolutely need to make the assassin buff, which is critical for Nocturne. With a 75% chance to roll ones in this stage, I figured it would be pretty easy to get a Kha'Zix, but the answer was no. So I know there must be one coming pretty soon, or at least a pike. They won't give me a Kha'Zix. I need a Kha'Zix. I need to trigger at least the first level of assassin. Luckily, I had to start the Gragas and the Vayne, so I had at least some power behind my build that could keep me from just going into a lose streak as I desperately searched for that assassin buff. After surviving this round, I figure I'm pretty much guaranteed to get another assassin, but I don't. And that prompts me to finally get in touch with my friend at Riot. I gotta make a phone call.
Oh.
I need to call Riot.
What?
Gary? Gary, are you at your desk? Well, get to your desk. I'm playing. No, it's the new account. M4T Live YT. I need Kha'Zix. I need Pike. Can you get him in there, please? Okay, thanks. Okay. But Gary couldn't get back to his desk fast enough to get me exactly what I needed, but with a second Nocturne, I was able to at least make things work, because Nocturne is a really powerful champion, and when there's two of them doing their spin move, they can take down the Kha'Zix I really needed. But when Gary finally made it back, he had another idea. Oh my god. With a 2% chance, it gives me a freaking 4-cost Legionnaire. Little zombie sound you heard at the end was my kid groaning at what had just happened. But as I always tell people when I do these videos, pay attention to what the game is telling you. It had just given me a Draven. It handed me a Riven coming out of a capsule, and then a Zenith Edge as a Radiant item. It's now setting up a nearly perfect combination that I absolutely cannot ignore. And it's time to give up on assassins and make use of the gift that Gary has given me. So Draven with a Zenith Edge, Last Whisperer, and Runan's Hurricane is going to lead this team now. I leave the Vayne in for the Forgotten buff, bring in Riven for the Legionnaire buff, and let's go! As you can see, having a properly itemized Draven at this point is just OP. Notice the little symbols above everyone showing that their armor is being absolutely destroyed with each of his hits, making it easy to win. But this is now a tricky overall change, as I have to figure out what's the best way forward with this current comp. I already bypassed a lot of the champions I would want in order to do a full Legionnaire build, but I'm going to try to make the best of it. So it's time to say goodbye to Vayne, at least for now, because maybe I'll go for Forgotten, depending, and bring in the 4th Legionnaire with Irelia. The key when you're making a transition like this is to look at how the team starts performing so that you can figure out what you need to fill in. Right now, Draven is carrying it, so I don't really need to do that much. Since she's my other 2-star, it's time to set up Callista as a secondary carry, giving her a Death Blade and an Infinity Edge so she can crit. I also have a recursive bow sitting on the side for hopefully another moment when I get a chance to get an additional sparring glove, and then I can have 2 Last Whisperers going at the same time with guaranteed armor shredding. With my friend at Riot back at his desk, I am rewarded with a 2-star Draven and a really good chance. I decide to put out a Leona so I could trigger the night buff because I'm going to need to keep these people protected as I get further in. I can't help but notice that there is a player at this time who has not lost a match yet. And once we get through the NPC round, Gary is nice enough to hand me the sparring gloves I was asking for. Thank you, Gary. It's always important for you to watch when I'm playing. Remember that. And as for why those sparring gloves are so important, I'll let my kid explain it.
They're going to have literally no armor.
Well, that's kind of the point.
The point is that they have no armor, so you end up shredding them over and over.
When the kid's right, he's right. I grab a Garen and replace Gragas because now I'm headed into the 4 Knight territory, and Garen will also trigger the Dawnbringer buff for Riven, which is really important because we want to keep her up as long as possible. And now we have run smack dab into the team that has not lost, and part of the reason is that Olaf in the back with the Rage Play Giant Slayer and Light Cannon. Yeah, that's gonna be really hard to beat. It's now time for our second Radiant item, and the Warmog's Pride is a perfect item for Garen since his shield scales off of his health. And any chance I can take to improve my knights, I'm going to take it, so Galio is better than Leona. At this point, given the way the match has gone, it's time to give up on the concept of going to 4 Forgotten and just accept it is going to be 4 Knights, 4 Legionnaires as my main build, and go forward with that because it seems to be working except that insane Olaf. The next NPC gave me a Chalice of Power, which isn't really very useful for my build since I'm not scaling much off AP, so it's time to make use of the Reforger and hope I can get something good. Hidden under the Recursive Bow is a Guardian Angel, which will make an excellent item for Garen, especially with that Warmog's Pride. And we end up in a battle against Cutman69, who is one of our regular viewers who had joined me in this live performance, but sadly for him, his Abomination team could not quite stand up to the power that Draven can bring at this point in the match. And with that, me and Cutman have both made it into the top 4, but there is someone who has not lost yet. They are running a very heavy skirmisher build with an almost unbeatable Olaf, and I will allow my in-game commentary to take over at this point so you can hear what happened live. As we are setting up to protect against that.
Yep. Diego is not going to do
because we do not want Viego grabbing anything that matters. I don't mind the Zephyr. Come on, Draven, go, 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 Draven, go, 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 Draven, go. Thank you, Draven.
Okay.
No perfect games on my watch. Okay, I'm totally petty, I'll admit it. So anyway, I found 2 actions in the next NPC round and picked them up, and that gave me the Sentinel buff to go along with everything else I was doing. And with my friend at Riot back watching over me, I get a 2-star action after the NPC round and give him the Static Shiv. I get placed against a 3rd place player, and Cutman is against the person with the unstoppable Olaf. I know I'm going to be able to get through this pretty quickly and then hope that Cutman can hang on so that maybe it can be the 2 of us at the end.
You're going with...
Cutman, hang on. Cutman, no! And with that, it's now down to 2 against someone with 2 Zephyrs that is going to be able to take 2 of my champions off the board at any given time, along with the fact that they have a Viego that can take control of one. I have to be very careful in this. In round 1, they Zephyr my front line out so that everyone has free reign on Draven. I think it might hold up because Draven might be able to do it, but not. My second hope is Action being able to take out their Olaf in the back line, which he gets really, really close to doing, but Olaf gets his life back because he gets more lifesteal and then finishes off my team. So I go looking to 2-star my Garen, but I'm 1 gold short. I have to survive this round in order to 2-star that Garen. What I do is I bring some of my front line back and Draven back even further so that they can't take out my entire front line with their Zephyrs. They'll just get my Galio and Nautilus, but leave Garen in place to help protect Draven. As you can see, Draven, with the ability to absolutely shred their armor, is able to fight through this, ultimately getting to Olaf and making it so that he cannot finish me off. Ultimately, my goal is to keep the opponent guessing as much as possible as to where their Zephyrs will be effective and not have them take out key units. And I will allow the in-game commentary to take over for a moment for what I was actually planning and why I did what I did and placed everything where I did.
Well, it's really the Draven show. And the reason I put Draven next to Galio is so that Galio could taunt anything away from him.
Action did end up surviving. If not barely.
And now it all comes down to positioning, where everything is, how it's placed, and what champions they're able to Zephyr off.
Oh, that's a mistake.
And yes, they did make a critical mistake that I will explain.
One more. Go, 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 go!
They just oopsed a little.
If you don't know what the error they made was, stay tuned till after this round and I will explain it.
Okay.
Came from me there.
That was a big mistake on their part, by the way. GG. And let me explain the mistake that they just made. They pulled their Zephyr off their champ and then put it right back on someone. They could have held their Zephyr until they saw where my champs were placed and then dropped it to aim it specifically at what they wanted.
Anyway, this was day 1 from the new live stream where I started a new account and I'm going to only use it for the live stream, so we'll see how far we can get it before the end of the season. I'm currently planning on doing live streams Tuesdays and Fridays from noon till 2. Hope to see you there and that you enjoyed the video and have an absolutely awesome day.